welcome to a new episode of Skagit Storytellers. This is episode 31. Dain Norman came all the way up here from Tacoma just to record with me. Now, he was actually playing in Cedar Woolley one night and Conway the next night, so I texted him and I asked him if he wanted to come over, and he said yes. Again, I'm super grateful that strangers come over and talk with me. We had a really fun time. I actually saw Dain last weekend at Conway Pub. It was really cool chatting with him. Dain has a lot of things happening coming up, not ready to be talked about, but he was really nervous telling me about them too. And like he was in disbelief that it was happening. But as you'll listen to this episode, Dain's been doing this for 20 years and he's really good. Actually, I guess over 20 years now. He's really good and he's worked really hard and good things happen to good people. So Dain, I hope that everything that we talked about happens, and I'll come by for a show sometime. All right. So today's Wednesday, the 13th. I didn't do an intro last week because I was so incredibly exhausted. I was actually finishing the final edits on the episode late Tuesday night after my radio show, and I can't do that. That was really hard. So my radio show is every Tuesday from 6 to 8. I'm trying to think of the upcoming guests. Miguel's coming on the 19th. Wes is coming on the 26th. And I think so far, October the 10th, Victor Simpson, de-esser, he's coming on October 10th. So I'm excited for that. Listen to my radio show from 6 to 8 on Tuesdays. Jack and Jeremy's show. They have a great show on Thursdays from 6 to 8. There's a big street show this weekend in Concrete. I don't know all the details, but if you listen to Jack and Jeremy's show, you can learn about it. I'm sure that Jeremy will put out an event description on the hub page as well. Check that out. But that's Saturday night, the 16th. Also in Concrete, there's the Ghost Walks coming up, and they actually sell out for those. So make sure you get your tickets now. I believe they're $25. So if you just Google Concrete Ghost Walk 2023, it'll take you to the event page. I'm not doing anything with the Ghost Walks, but I'm doing a trivia night on the 7th, I think. I think that's a Saturday. I forget. It's on the 7th. One more update musically in the house. I've told you guys that Olive, my daughter, is playing the violin now. And so I dropped her off at AMP in Anacortes at Buxton's to do some string camps. And I got a tour of the upstairs. I love it there. There's guitars, drums, keyboards, pianos. There's all these instruments that kids can just drop in and play. And I was walking around thinking, I want that here. Like upriver, Cedro, we need that. I think every city needs that, every town. So I started one at my house. It's just my daughter and her friends so far. Last Saturday, 4 of them came over and they were so loud. My ears were ringing after. We played a bunch, ate some pizza. They played a bunch more. We had a photo shoot as well for their upcoming album, I'm sure. And then the plan is to do it every other week, although they wanted to come over this coming weekend, so we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that I wanted to start it, and they had a blast. Their band name is called After School Detention. So be on the lookout for a show at the Hub. One of the drummer is his grandpa has a farm, and he's already said that he wants him to play at the farm too. So they already have 2 shows. So all they have to do is just practice. Some songs they were practicing Mary Jane's Last Dance by Tom Petty. They were practicing Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. They were practicing Under Pressure by Queen. And then they talked about maybe doing an original. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, they had fun and they didn't want to stop. And at the end, we were watching School of Rock, and one of the kids, I mean, he has every word memorized. But another one of the kids, he had never even heard of it, and he was glued to the TV, and that was a fun way to end the night. So anyway, I'll definitely give you updates on that. Okay, so radio show, upcoming episodes. I have not been doing 5K a day. I talked about that, I think a couple episodes ago. That was my goal for September. Again, school kicked my butt. I'm not even upset. It happened. No big deal. But yesterday I restarted. So after I record this, I'm going to head out there and do a quick 3.1 miles. And yeah, if you're ever trying to do a month-long challenge and for some reason you stop, you can always start again. It's no big deal. It's better than quitting completely. All right. I think that's it. There's a whole bunch of other shows coming up. So not this weekend, but next weekend. The 22nd, the Wes Jones Trio is playing at Barley and Brew. I'm excited for that. On the 23rd, there's a couple of really good shows. The Dimes are playing in Edison. And then also the Sam Chu, De-esser, and Turnkey Runner are playing in Bellingham that night. So I don't know if I can make both of those on Saturday, but I hope I can. And Sunday the 24th is the Bellingham Bay Half Marathon. So if you signed up, you should keep training, and I'll see you there. All right, that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of your week, and as always, go do something hard.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers with Liz Rankin.
Kind of, Para's assistant teacher kind of.
Yeah.
And it's cool, though. It's good for music because you're off the whole summer. You got all the breaks.
Yeah. I know. I think a lot of teachers relax in the summer.
Oh, definitely.
I don't do that.
It's so cool, though. Yeah, we both work in schools.
Yeah. Okay, so I was reading a bit of your bio. So you're from Florida, sort of?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
I'm really from the whole country. I was born in South Dakota, but not from there at all. I've moved my whole life. My stepdad was an entrepreneur. He would start a company or he'd get a job somewhere else, and so we'd move like every 6 months to 2 years, my whole childhood. Yeah, so I think I went to like 12 schools, 3rd grade on. The longest I spent anywhere was 2 school years. Yeah, and that was multiple places were 2 years, but most of it was in Florida. It was always abrupt, like a month notice. Yeah, so it was really rough, especially. Well, no, it wasn't ever easy. But I look back on it, and now I'm actually glad for the experience. I'm in my 30s now, but when I was in my early 20s, I kept up the lifestyle of moving around because I think it was because it was all I knew.
Yeah. But
after I got out of high school, I went to college briefly for audio production, and that didn't work out because I was in a bad position, kind of starving, like actually starving, and I got scurvy even.
You got scurvy
when I was like 21. Yeah.
While you were in college?
Yeah, that's I didn't finish college. And then
I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry.
No. Looking back, it was. I mean, ended up moving around about every 6 months until I was about 26 to different cities. It was cool though. That part of it was.
So where you are now is Tacoma or Puyallup? You said.
South Hill, which is basically Puyallup.
Okay. So how long have you been there?
Puyallup. Let me think.
Like, this is the longest you've been in one spot.
Yeah, it is. In my
really?
Whole life.
Wow.
I've been Puyallup 8 years. That's what I'm right now experiencing for the first time ever is like actually having things in one spot.
Yeah, like you can buy quality because you're gonna have it a while.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it kind of makes you appreciate everything you have more. Like,
is your partner from Puyallup?
Yeah, she is actually.
Is she your fiance?
Yeah.
I thought I read that. Okay, what's her name?
Eiley.
Okay.
We met in Portland 10 years ago, actually. I was homeless when I met her.
Do you mind talking about your year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so how did you end up
It was
homeless?
kind of off and on. It was... So now I'm like 35 now, so it was when I was 24 was the first time. I was in Florida, in Orlando. And that was really rough. And that was because I went on it was kind of my own fault. I'm not trying to blame anybody, but it was I went on a road trip across the country with some friends, like 5 friends, and we got
From where to where?
From Florida to California.
Okay.
I had a friend who had a trust fund, and we went on a road trip across the country filming a documentary, and we're calling it "Don't Blink," and it was about just experiencing your city and life, like don't blink or life will pass you by kind of thing. And we were going just from city to city, just random. We weren't no plan really, because the guy had a lot of money, and he was like, "Whatever, let's just do this." And we're like, "Okay." We're all like 23. This guy grows like a lot of weed, and he's like,
I was gonna ask if you guys were doing drugs in the road.
We're smoking a lot of weed. I still smoke weed, but I see it as a medication. He's like, I got he had like a pound of weed, and because he grows it, and we're like, yeah, and I got a bunch of money. Let's go try to film a documentary. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And
nothing could go wrong.
I quit both my jobs I had at the time, and I was living in Georgia at the time.
Okay.
I was working at FedEx ground and the warehouse loading semi trucks, and CVS pharmacy.
Oh wow!
So I'd do that, and I get off of work and change in my car, literally in the parking lot, and go to work in CVS after literally lifting boxes for 4 or 5 hours straight.
Wow!
And I was in really good shape at that time. And it was in Georgia, and then so then my friend called me that I knew in college, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm doing a documentary. Do you want to come along?" And I was like, sure. He's like, when? I was like, I don't know yet, but he's like, I'll surprise you and just show up. So so I was doing a open jam in Atlanta one night, open blues jam type thing, and he just shows up with like a bunch of people I knew from school, and with a camera. And I'm like, oh shit, okay,
it's time.
He goes, you want to leave tomorrow? I'm like, I can't just yet. So he gave me a week. Yeah. And in a week I just left and went with them, and went across the country. I saw pretty much the whole nation. We went out first. We went up to New Jersey, and then Times Square. From there, saw all that. I went and played music and just in a Central Park. I went busking out there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. and then we drove through the middle of the country, and then out to California, and then I stayed in Long Beach for a week, then stayed in Las Vegas for a week, and just skateboarded around Las Vegas for a week. I used to skateboard a lot, and with a backpack full of beer, literally a 24 pack of beer in a backpack, just drinking it as we was skating down the strip in Las Vegas.
So you were kind of filming as you were driving, like you'd stop places, and like, did they film you while you were playing in Central Park? And
yeah, actually, we would just stop, and he'd find different things in cities you can do. Yeah, there are events or different like activities that people don't think about normally, like because everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so bored, nothing to do in my city," but there always is. Like, there's always something going on. You just got to go out of your box and find it. Yeah, and that's what that was about. But it never came out or anything. He actually had to connect with like Netflix or something.
Oh, so it's like done.
Well, we never finished it.
Oh, okay.
It kind of imploded on itself.
So you made it to California.
Yeah, we made it out there, and then he's like, my dad's cutting me off. And we're like,
didn't see that coming. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we were actually talking about it like behind.
Like, were you staying at like 5-star hotels?
We're staying and he had like a 40-foot RV.
Oh, you drove that?
Yeah, my friend's RV.
Oh, I'm picturing a car.
It was like a tour bus type of deal. I mean, this guy had an inheritance, and
so you're driving that.
We're going. Yeah, it was
the
like
gas bill alone.
And then he's like, "Sorry guys, we have to go back to Florida." And at the time I was living in Georgia, and so I'm like, "Okay, can we drop you off in Florida?" Georgia's, "No, I can't. I need to go back to Florida." So I ended up stranded in Florida without my car or anything, no money. So I was homeless in Florida for like 3-4 months. Not everyone is into like 50s rock and roll. Yeah. Because the early Beatles was more like Chuck Berry, but with a little more melody. Yeah, I imagine like Johnny Be Good. But you probably heard it by now, but imagine the song Johnny Be Good, but with like more chord changes. That's kind of like the early Beatles.
Did you grow up listening to the Beatles?
I grew up listening to Elvis and 50s music. My grandpa, when I was a kid, was kind of like my father figure, and he was like,
Is your biological dad's dad? Or your step?
My mom's dad.
Oh, your mom's dad. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, he was like he was like the Outsiders in the 50s, you know, that movie. He was literally one of those kind of kids.
That's awesome.
He was in a gang and like a street gang, homeless at 15. My grandpa, and he was in the 50s, and he was a greaser guy, the whole deal.
Cigarette pack in his sleeve.
he actually got lung cancer actually.
Oh really?
My grandpa, yeah.
Oh wow.
But
so he listened to the Elvis. And, yeah.
He was a hot rodder guy. He was a mechanic, and I grew up around classic cars like 50s, 60s, 70s, like muscle cars.
Yeah.
And 1950s rock and roll vinyls.
Oh wow.
He was always playing them.
So is that kind of how you like fell in love with vinyl?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And old music.
Yeah, that's awesome.
To me, you know, like my first experience really hearing music was I was about 4 years old. I was at my grandparents' house. It's in Indiana. Richmond, Indiana, and that's where my mom's from, Indiana, and we were there, and he was putting on an Elvis record, like a 70s live concert. It was Elvis live in Memphis, Tennessee was a record, 1974 when it came out. I know all this stuff, and I just remember sitting in front of these huge speakers that dwarfed me, and I was like 4. And he's playing this record, and Elvis had this song medley on there. It was a bunch of 50s hits just played in a medley. And I was just like, whoa, what is this? Like, just amazed by it.
And you remember that? And you were 4?
Oh yeah, I remember vividly.
What's a band like a current band when you were a kid that you liked? Like, were you into like Pearl Jam or like Nirvana or?
I'm not really into Pearl Jam actually, but I used to be obsessed with Nirvana.
Really?
My nickname in high school was Dain Cobain.
Really?
Yeah, my hair was literally down to here.
Was it?
Actually, I just cut it like a year ago. It was about down to here a year ago.
Wow.
And I used to color my hair like with permanent markers in high school, so like green and blue and stuff. And I'm like, and I was obsessed with the grunge thing, and all my jeans were ripped, and you know, and so everyone was just like Dain Cobain. Yeah.
Is that why you moved to the Pacific Northwest?
No, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I still like Nirvana. I really do, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not like obsessed with them anymore, but that was more when I was like 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really into Nirvana, System of a Down, early Green Day.
Yeah.
This is when I was a teenager. Goldfinger.
Yeah.
99 red balloons. Sum 41. I liked them a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And Blink-182, you know, all those bands from that time. And
yeah.
I graduated 2007. I started my first band when I was 13.
What was it that pushed you or encouraged you to do that?
It really is Elvis, actually.
Yeah.
When I thought about, like, you know, I used to listen to Elvis live concert footage and just hear the crowd like going crazy, and the Beatles too.
Yeah.
I got into the Beatles around that time too, and I started like hearing live concert footage of these really legendary acts, and you hear the crowd just going crazy, and it was more like the energy of it, not necessarily the idolism or anything, but just more so like the energy of the whole experience.
I want to be the source of that energy. Yeah.
I was
That's
like, this
cool.
is beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, neat.
Yeah.
And so did you just get some guitar lessons? Did you teach yourself?
I got guitar lessons for 3 months, and the rest is self-taught. So I started playing guitar when I was 10, and when I first started playing guitar, I just learned a couple chords, trying to play Elvis songs actually, like like the song Hound Dog, and like I was really into like the 50s Elvis music, more of the harder rock and stuff, and I got really into that, and Buddy Holly, all that, and Chuck Berry, all that kind of stuff, really young. Kind of because my grandpa, and I had a bunch of CDs or 50s rock and roll that I would just play them constantly in my room, like full blast, and you know, and so I learned a couple chords, and I kind of put it down until I was about 12 for some reason.
Yeah.
And then I got really into Blink-182 and some 41 about right age 12, and punk rock and skateboarding. I think because we moved to Melbourne, Florida from Wisconsin at that time.
Oh, okay.
When I was 11. And I got really into skateboarding because everyone was skateboarding. It was like a beach town. And everyone was into this like punk rock music. And I got really into it. So then I started playing guitar literally about 7-8 hours a day. And I would fall asleep every night and playing guitar. in my bed, and I had cuts on all my fingers. I played so much.
Really? That's funny. I was thinking too, I mean, if you're moving around so much, maybe it was like sort of an, kind of like an easy way to like find a group. Like, hey, do you guys play music? I do too. Or
well, it wasn't easy. I mean, for me, I'm naturally shy, so it was really hard actually to make friends. Because I was always a new kid and then bullied a lot too, because I was the weird, shy new kid who didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And so I'd make friends after about like 3 months usually.
Yeah.
2-3 months. And yeah.
So you said you had your first band when you were like 13, but then would you just kind of have to change your band all the time because you moved, or at that point had you stopped moving? No,
I didn't stop until I was 17.
Okay.
But it was first band was with some friends, and we just played in his back porch in Florida.
What was your name?
Ironic was the band name. With a K.
Of course.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was a K.
Really? Yeah, we did like punk music, like Minor Threat kind of style.
Yeah.
Just like hardcore punk actually, and then then I had my second band when I was 14 when we moved to Gainesville, Florida. I consider myself most from Gainesville, I formed a band there called Founders Hill, and we played gigs all the time actually in high school, and
wow.
We even got on the radio, and we'd bring about 30 people to our shows.
That's awesome.
And we played at some place down there, and the owner of the place was like, out of all the high school bands, you guys have the biggest draw, as they told us.
That's cool.
I remember going to the mall once when I was 16, and there's a group of like 4 girls, and they're like, "You guys are in Founders Hill, aren't you?" And we didn't even know them,
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then we got offered. Then when I moved when I was 17 to Georgia, right before my junior year of high school, that was the hardest one. And I had a girlfriend too. We had to break up and all this. It was awful. And so then I started another band in Georgia called Ars Nova, which means new art in Greek, I think, or new art in
like
some
Latin
language.
or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ars Nova, and that
cool.
was kind of like a Nirvana type band.
Yeah. What kind of music was that middle band, the Founders Hill?
It was like Green Day meets like Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay. Did you play covers, originals?
Originals.
Okay, yeah.
All
and were you the one writing everything?
I was co-writing it with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And then the next band I wrote everything.
Yeah. Cool.
But it was what was I gonna say?
Oh, you're talking about your third band, called
Ars Nova.
Yeah, and then you were 17.
Yeah, so we're doing that, and I ended up after high school. I ended up moving back going down to Florida again to reform Founders Hill, and that was not a good experience because we were actually offered a record deal when I was 19, after some label, under the management of Day to Remember or something like that. So it would have been a big deal, but the other guys were like this. They're like, "Oh, we're all too old now." I'm like, "We're not too old."
You were 19?
Yeah. And I was like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Were they like gonna get married? Like, did they have kids or like what?
And their minds, if you weren't signed by age 16, you were too old. Because a lot of the bands at that time, remember, like emo. This is like back in like 2005.
Yeah, those kids were pretty young. Yeah,
you had a lot of bands coming out that were literally 17 years old that were like blowing up.
Like we're not Korean pop stars. It's okay.
Like Hawthorne Heights, all this kind of.
So it's too bad you couldn't like take that music and just find some other guys and it had to be them. Yeah.
Well, because we co-wrote everything.
Oh, okay.
In that band at least.
So then you were like, that's it. I'm not co-writing anything anymore. Yeah, it's going to be all my music.
Well, that wasn't the reason. That's kind of how it went.
Yeah.
Then I went to school in Orlando. And then that was a horrible experience too, because I went to a Full Sail University for audio, and I got student loans. Now I'm in debt still. But did that, and then I went through the experience. It's like a year-round school, and so they actually tell you to not get a job if you're going to be there because they say you're going to fail if you get a job.
Oh,
because your classes are literally 8-10 hours a day.
Oh wow!
Because it's a year round. You're supposed to graduate with a bachelor's in like I was an associate's in 1 year,
Oh, wow.
a bachelor's in 2 years, and a master's in 3 years. And so it's a very accelerated pace.
Yeah.
And so, but my family was like, you either get a job so you can get food. I'm like, okay. So then I couldn't find a job because during the recession, this was like 2009. Yeah, so I ended up starving.
And that's when you got scurvy.
Everything I owned got stolen as well when I was going to school by a roommate. Like that was on Speedballs.
Oh.
And he stole literally everything I owned.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so
Wait, what's a speedball?
it's a mixture of cocaine and heroin
Oh, okay.
in powder form. I don't do any of that. I've only ever done weed. That's like other stuff. That's not good. But yeah. So then I couldn't record any music until.
Oh, he sold all your recording equipment.
Everything I owned.
Like clothes.
Clothes too. He actually peed on my clothes.
What?
Yeah, this guy was an asshole. Basically, I had some recording gear I got from I had in high school, so I couldn't record. I didn't record any music till I was about 28 because I wasn't able to. I couldn't afford to. I was trying to live, So I have about 7 albums worth of songs that aren't recorded right now.
What?
Yeah.
Where are they? Like
They're in my head.
in your head?
And they're on my cell phones. I've had I have like 5 phones.
Oh, like a recording. You'll just sing into it, or
I got 5 phones. The memory is completely filled up with song demos. Like,
Oh my gosh! Because I looked on Spotify. So you have this album called, is it Shades of Blue?
yeah, that's a new one. It's a new record.
Okay. And when did that one come out?
So the song Shades of Blue came
Oh,
out.
it's a song?
Yeah, it's the title track of the upcoming record. It's going to be a double record.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be out at the end of September this year. But so far we've put out, or I've put out 6 songs off the upcoming record.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It says 2021. Shades of Blue, right?
Yeah, and we did that track with Jonathan Plum in Seattle, who did Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and
Oh, cool.
Alice in Chains. He helped us. We recorded it with him.
And so is this, your band is called does it say Chrysalis?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And what's that from? Oh, Chrysalis Effect.
The Chrysalis Effect.
Okay.
It's symbolic to me about life and going through a cocoon and then you bloom.
Oh, like the butterfly effect,
Yeah.
but chrysalis.
Yeah, I kind of pertain it to my own life in a way, and going through some of my early 20s shit show.
Yeah.
And then into now, and things are going really well for me now at this
Yeah.
point in my life.
Like you said, you've been in the same place for 8 years.
Yeah.
And how long have you been with your fiance?
Since our son was born, pretty much. We met in Portland, like I said, back in 2013.
Were you doing a show? Saw you.
We actually met online.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't. Looking back, yeah. At the time, I was living in my car in Portland. I packed everything I owned and drove to Oregon from Georgia.
Why did you choose Oregon?
Because there was a label I was going to sign with in Salem.
Oh, okay.
And it ended up being not a good deal. And this was when I was like 25. Ended up living in my car in Portland for like 2 months or so. And I met her online, and we went on a date at a coffee shop. I had like literally $3, and I was just like, "Hey, I'll buy a drip coffee. Is that cool?" Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, I'm good."
So you bought her a coffee and you didn't have anything?
I tried to, and she goes, "Do you have any money?"
She said that.
Yeah. And I'm like, I got like $3. I'll buy you a coffee with that. And she was like, let me get you a coffee. It's fine. Then she bought me some food. At the time, I hadn't eaten in like 2 days.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm not like that now anymore. Now I'm doing really, really good with finances. But yeah.
Well, you think? I mean, I'm just picturing myself if I met a guy online and he couldn't afford a drip coffee. Not that she's looking for a millionaire or anything, but
yeah.
What I mean, I wish she was here so I could be like, what was it about him that you're like, there's something there?
I know what it is actually.
Have you asked her?
Oh yeah, she's actually told me
you're
this.
Like, why are you with me? No, just kidding.
Yeah. Looking back, I'm like, why did he pick me? But she was dating another guy at the time who actually was like 32, and he owned his own dog business.
Oh.
And he owned his own house even. And she picked me over him. And the reason was her dog didn't like him.
Oh my god.
We still have the same dog now. She's 10 now. Her name's Luna.
Dogs know.
Yeah, and she hated him. She would literally growl every time she saw him, even though he was a dog trainer.
How long did she date that guy for?
Like 2 months.
Oh.
And
wow.
she met me, and the dog literally was obsessed with me. I mean, and now, like, it's like my baby is that dog.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Every night she sleeps with me, the dog, and like literally right here on my chest. And she's a Chihuahua.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and it was because of the dog, actually. And she's like, yeah, you know, because that was like her baby, was her dog.
Yeah.
And she literally brought her with her everywhere she went. On our second date, I shared my ice cream with the dog, even. And and she's like, that was when I knew you were the right one. And we were talking about revenge. I don't believe in revenge at all, because I believe in karma, and things just take care of themselves. And
Yeah.
and I was talking about something that happened. She goes, aren't you gonna try to do anything about it, get him back? I'm like, no. You know, and I was just like, I don't believe in that. And then she said that was one of the reasons why she chose me, was that and the dog.
And what does she do for work?
She's a paraeducator as well.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Auburn.
In the same school?
No, a different district.
So you have a solo act and then your band?
It's kind of like a solo band, like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers type of thing, where Tom Petty is out front, but there's a band behind it still.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, right now you're by yourself, like,
yeah.
playing up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because...
I make more money when I travel solo.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Have you ever played up here before? Oh, no, you said at the Woolly Market.
Yeah, one time. And then I played in Conway, Boxcar, and the pub probably like 12 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm out here like once every couple months, pretty much.
Yeah. Have you played in Bellingham at all?
Yes, I have. Yeah, one time.
Yeah.
Twin Sisters Brewery.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I was just thinking, like, what's your... Because you're in Tacoma?
Yeah.
It's like, what's your
yeah.
rate? Like, what's your radius? Like, do you map it out where you're like, okay, it only makes sense to go this far, you know?
It depends on how much it pays. I mean, like, I pretty much, my general radius is from down to Portland, up to Bellingham, and then out to like Yakima, like Leavenworth, occasionally out to Spokane, Pullman, Idaho, even, and then down to Bend, Oregon. Another
really good place to play is the Eagle Haven Winery.
I actually just
right down the
stopped
street.
there.
Oh, did you?
I bought a bottle of wine right before I came here.
Oh, cool. Did you talk to Tina?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Sarah?
I talked to someone else. Like, she's a blonde. I don't know.
Oh, Sarah. Yeah.
She gave me Tina's email.
Oh, yeah. They're awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So this actually, today, Wes Jones is playing there with Brittany Collins and another.
I've heard of Brittany Collins. I've heard that name.
Yeah, she's so good. They do just down the street. They do a Riverfront Park, like summer in the park or music in the park concert series, and Brittany played there last Saturday.
Yeah,
it was so good, and she's played at the winery before.
So this new record is going to be a double album.
Yeah.
So on vinyl, it'll be a double vinyl. So we'll be selling them for like $50 a piece, because most new vinyls are $25 when they come out, and so it'll be $50 a piece. And once to print 100 vinyls, it's usually around $1,400, and so we'll have to get about 50 pre-orders or something like that.
Yeah.
To be able to, which is not a lot.
Yeah.
And so most likely we'll be able to print that by the end of this year. Vinyls.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. And is this your first? Well, I guess because you said that you haven't recorded a ton of stuff. So, like, would this be your first vinyl that you're?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I actually had a single come out on a label out of Brooklyn called Least Avow Records.
Okay.
It was a short run, like 25 copies, 45, not many at all.
A 45 is a small record, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A and B side, and or 30, and so I have a 45 of two of my songs. You know, scientifically, it's like that. I've studied sound, and it's when your analog sound is real sound, it's like actual physical sound analog. I mean, all sound's real sound, but when you're hearing a record, you're hearing the actual sound that was happening. But when you're hearing CDs or anything digital, you're hearing a computer recreation of the sound, like a bit code. So if you take a sound wave and you slow a sound wave or a tape, if you slow down a sound wave on a computer software program, it'll sound like because it's not a steady current of sound. It's a bit rate. It's a recreation of sound. But when you slow down a tape or a vinyl, it's just like because it's
so a cassette tape is that too?
Yeah, any tape, any analog sound.
Oh.
Analog is actual sound, and digital is a recreation of sound, and that's the difference there.
Is that what you learned in your fancy college?
Yeah, actually, it is. But
hey, it wasn't all worthless.
Yeah, I learned more about the music business than recording when I went there.
Really?
Like I'm all about the '60s way of recording and '70s. Like I don't really vibe with the modern production style. Like
yeah.
I mean, certain elements like editing is easier because you can just splice a sound wave and whatever, and you don't have to cut actual tape.
Yeah.
But
so you record at your house?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I prefer to record at home actually because I just like the sound of it more too, and you got more time on your hands too, and you can focus on it more. I put room mics up everywhere too. So
what does that mean?
A room mic, like, so you have a close mic on the source, like have a mic like right on the amplifier on the speaker, and then I'll have a mic 10 feet away in the room, a condenser mic. Okay. And I record at live volume too. So
so what does that do? Live
volume, when you're at a concert and your amplifier is super, super loud, like that Hendrix style, like I'll have an A/B switch and I'll actually hook up 2 amps together like you're at like a festival. And I'll literally turn them up as loud as if I'm playing for like 10,000 people.
And so how many mics do you have around the room?
Just one. I'll have a room mic and a close mic. And so then I'll blend the two together in the actual sound, and you get a way fuller sound.
Really?
Because and I believe in energy. Like, energy is everything. And so if you're recording at live volume, you're putting out more energy. And you feel it on the recording. Huh. There's a difference. And like,
that's cool.
Especially with the room mics, especially with the drum set, you definitely need room mics in the room. Like close up on everything, like the bass drum, the snare, all that. But then also put like stereo room mics up in the room, like 10, 20 feet away.
So the whole room mic thing, is that something that you learned in college, or like is that something that you just experimented with?
That's something I learned on my own.
Okay.
I didn't learn anything about recording when I went to school. They were teaching how to record top 40 pop hits. Oh. And I'm not just not about it, It's like, that's cool if you are. Nothing wrong with that. And it's nothing wrong with the new production style. And a lot of modern musicians will even move the sound wave so it's right on the beat. I don't believe in that even. Because I look at it as in what did they do in the 70s? That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything new, because like,
if the Doors didn't do it, I'm not doing it.
I'm not trying to be pretentious about it or close-minded, but it's just like most of the records that I listen to that I really respect were done mostly live in the studio with people who are just like straight up just playing it, like all the way through one take. I believe in musicianship. Like if you're gonna record something, play it right. Like don't go back and like edit it and fix it. Like just learn how to play it better. I think a lot of people go through life and they do their life the way they think they're supposed to versus what they want to do, and it's just like, why would you do that? It's not even being selfish either, because it's like some people are like, well, it's selfish to do that. They're like, no, it's actually selfish to not do that. Because you're going to be miserable. Yeah. And affecting everyone around you too. Yeah. I have a lot of songs come in dreams sometimes. I have probably about 5 songs that have actually came into it from a dream. Wow. And I'll wake up, it'll be in my head still, and I'll grab my phone as fast as I can and record the melody. I'll sing into my phone.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I don't forget it, because when you're coming out of dream state, you are rapidly forgetting your dream. Well, the new record is a concept album in a sense, but not quite, but kind of. It's a concept album about how the world was kind of living in shades of blue during COVID, during 2020.
Like sadness, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Living in shades of blue, like blue. So the song is kind of metaphorically how people seem to be reacting at large to the COVID pandemic, psychologically reacting to it. I wrote this Shades of Blue while jamming with my son one day, actually. He was on drums, and...
Because he would have been kindergarten?
Yeah.
No, pre-K.
he was not in school yet. Then his first year was
Zoom.
Yeah, through Zoom.
Yeah.
Which sucked. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it really hindered some of the social development. That's what that song's about, really. And yeah, I can do that one, I guess.
Cool. Okay. Awesome.
Summertime is here, but it doesn't feel like it. No, it doesn't feel like it. I'm stuck in shades of blue, so blue. But summertime is here, and we're supposed to be happy, but I don't feel happy. I only feel lost. So lost, all the flowers gone so long. Our hopes and dreams are not small. Things seem lost, living in tragic times. No peace of mind, living in surreality. Oh, will our souls be free, yeah. But summertime is here, and we all feel the strain. Yes, we all feel the pain, and not knowing what's beyond until the summer dawns. I love it, the stars are aligned. No need for the cry now. If you can dream it, you can do it. And where are the flowers gone so long? You gotta search for the sun and the small things, it seems. Living on a worried mind. Now you're sleepless child, living in surreality. Oh, will our souls be free, yeah. Oh, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, oh. The soul travels on with the heart, yeah. The soul travels on with the heart, yeah. Soul travels on with the heart, with the heart, with the heart. Shades of blue, shades of blue, shades of blue. Shades of blue, 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 shades of blue. Shades of blue, 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 shades of blue.
This one's gonna be out, I think, August 15th. It's called Minds. It's actually about.
This is the first single off.
Well, it's just, the
Or
sixth
second single.
or third single actually.
Okay.
Because there's every single is 2 songs, A and B side type of thing.
Oh, okay, got it. But this is off the double. Okay,
Yeah, it's one of the new songs.
Okay. And what's this one about?
It's about neurodiversity.
Okay.
Neurodiversity. How there's a lot of people in the world that are, they can be ADHD, they can be autistic. Some people are autistic and you never even know.
Yeah.
And a lot of like left brain types are very neurodiverse. And people have high anxiety, nothing wrong with it. And it's just like our world has a issue with that. They want to put people in a box.
Here, take this medication so you don't have to be like that.
Exactly. It's like, be like, what the hell is wrong with it? Being a little quirky,
Yeah.
And and the thing is that everyone is an individual. In a sense, everyone's on a spectrum. And there's such a box about how the way you're supposed to act or think.
Yeah.
I've always had such an issue with it, and with that mentality, and now I'm realizing, wait, it's about neurodiversity. Like the way people are judgmental. If you're weird, like someone's weird, like nothing's wrong with them. They're just different,
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like the people who are really intelligent are the ones who end up being thought of as like crazy or weird.
Yeah.
And it has to do with neurodiversity. It all comes back to that.
Yeah.
And because there's people's minds are so diverse in the world, and everyone wants to act like you just got to be a certain way to.
I was just thinking, do you kind of draw on your like school or like your job experience?
Oh, that too. Yeah, I work with autistic kids.
Yeah.
And Down syndrome kids. I've worked with them too, and I feel like a lot of people are on this autistic spectrum. Like you wouldn't even know they are.
Yeah.
Like John Lennon, actually, people think he was actually on the autistic spectrum, and it's so it's really a song about autism in a sense is how someone thinks,
Yeah.
and they might be super talented at something, or this or that, and so it's really about just accepting how people are, how they are, and nothing is wrong with that.
Cool.
And it's called Minds.
I love it. Awesome.
Honestly, I'm feeling down, but I don't really know what is holding me down. Times are changing fast, no time to live in the past, living on a broken heart. And things be testing me, try to wring me out, but I don't really know what the screaming's about. We gotta live a perfect life, it seems in today's strife. But let me ask you a question, do you really hear yourself? Ooh, 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 ooh. And when it's all over, will you really care? How people live their lives, carry on what they wear. Let me ask you a question and be fair. Are those things that you hold so dear just maybe they're based in fear? Just maybe they're based in fear. It's time to look at me.
There is a small label I'm on out of England called Outdoor Britain Records. That's how I got the airplay in Europe and Australia. They're going to be putting it out as well, but that's more of an internet thing and radio, I guess.
I feel bad, but I gotta go.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to Seattle. So, and we recorded for 2 hours.
Oh shoot!
I know. Doesn't it just fly?
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me over here, and I'd love to come back anytime. This is cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm either here or I'm in Concrete. So
cool.
cool. Well, thanks, Dain.
Thank you.
Thanks.
As well.